Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's hot and tasty episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and my goodness, this is going to be one of the best shows that we have put on this year. Not only are the topics literally flying off of the shelf, but we have a panel. All the slots have been taken. We have a panel that's not only packed with some of the best talent on YouTube, but some of the best friends that I know in the business. So let's get into the introduction so we can break down all of this hot and tasty gaming news. Now, first up, you know him as being a regular panel member. He is out in these YouTube streets cutting down fools who like to challenge his trophy hunting skills. He also has an incredible YouTube channel, and we actually worked together last night on Saltiest show last night. Welcome, of course, BitCloud Gaming.
Hey, what's up? Morning. Let's definitely get into these topics. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna jump right into. We got some big Sony ones to get into. If you are a Sony fanboy or fangirl, you are going to really like the way we open up this show, because we're gonna attack this from a way that isn't finger pointy or, of course, provoking in any way. We're just going to break down some facts. So let me continue on with this outstanding panel. Now, obviously, this is a new member to Breakfast with Boom that's going to be joining us each and every Friday morning. I had the pleasure of working with this podcaster, I think about 4 or 5 times, and every time I work with him, I'm even more impressed, not only in his skills of podcasting, but his knowledge in gaming. Please welcome to the panel, Mr. Badbit.
What's up, guys? What's up? I don't have my cup of coffee today, but I got a nice tall glass of water, so I'm waking up with everybody.
Nice.
I had Pop-Tarts this morning.
Excellent.
It'll be a good morning.
Hey, listen, it's always a good morning if you can wake up and have a Pop-Tart. I think that you're already on to something.
Honest to goodness, they're the best. Strawberry Pop-Tarts or get out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, with the frosting on top?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We are friends for sure now. All right. But thanks for being here, dude. Next up, making another return appearance to the Double Barrel Gaming Network. You know him as Sean D. I know him as someone that is one of the community's finest, that is finding his foot within this community. Please welcome Sean D.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's get into these topics, Boom. Ready to go.
Listen, it's great to have you back on the show. Super appreciate you being here. Of course, next up, all the way from Germany, all the way from the other side of the planet, and someone that I got to be honest with you, he is not only an upcoming podcaster, but he's also an up-and-coming YouTube content creator that I think everyone needs to keep an eye on. Please welcome Archimedes.
Yes, thank you, Boom. Thanks again for having me. It's going to be a great show. We have some fantastic topics to take our mind off all the shit that is going on around the globe. So let's do this.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here. Super appreciate it. I know that it's right now it's 4 p.m. in Germany, and it's only 10 a.m. here in the Eastern Standard part of the world. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to hang out. And, of course, making his grandest return to, of course, Breakfast with Boom. Not only is he an incredible music-making kind of a guy, but he also is the lead dude on his YouTube channel when he talks about gaming. And listen, we have to get this out in the open. His name is Nintendo Direct, but his love and passion goes beyond Nintendo. He is through and through an Xbox guy. Please welcome Studio Nintendo Direct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, Boom. It's been a minute. It's been a while. I know we've kind of been trying to connect back and forth what day's best. And what better time to be on the show than whenever we're all at home? You know?
Well, I will say this: it has been much easier getting guests.
Yes, I mean, I would be surprised, but I'm glad to be on. Like we got some topics to talk about, and like I said, I'm just really excited. I don't have my coffee. I didn't have my Pop-Tarts like a bad bit, but I'll be just fine.
Well, listen, you know what? Let's get into what has gripped the gaming news. And as you can see, as I bring up the banner, obviously both BitCloud and myself were had a good time last night on Saltiest's podcast last night, and one of the major topics that has gripped the gaming world. As a matter of fact, it broke literally as we were doing outros on the Xbox Factor podcast at about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday. And in what many in the industry are calling the biggest delay of 2020, Jason Schreier of Kotaku fame has confirmed that The Last of Us 2, in fact, is delayed indefinitely for the PlayStation 4. And millions of fans, and BitCloud, we're going to get to you first on this because this is heart-wrenching, that we're waiting for what many are already calling Game of the Year has been delayed. And the official statement that was posted by PlayStation's official Twitter account had this to say: SIE made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing a launch experience our players deserve. In the last few days, we've heard that and again, I want to continue that, obviously, Big Cal, I think you can back me up on this. We have heard in the last couple of days that the PlayStation 4 disc production has come to a screeching halt, and and because of this, there's been a tremendous or significant amount of delays due to the COVID-19 crisis, and physical copies are becoming a problem to produce. Now, I got to give our good friend, oh my God, I hate blanking live on the air. In fact, you know what? Let me just pull up the exact statement from Naughty Dog. I want to just bring up that banner real quick so you guys.
Neil? Is it Neil Druckmann?
No, yes, Neil. Oh my God, I hate blanking. Okay, so
When you said Neil, I was like, Neil.
our good friend, and I say our. I mean, I've never met Neil, but I respect him tremendously. I think he's one of the finest lead producers of any game maker. I think that what he does, his passion does come through. He is honest, and I think that he is not afraid to make a delay when a delay is going to make the game better for the millions of fans. And as you can see, I pulled up the statement directly from Naughty Dog, which I wanted to do. I think it's important that we get the understanding. So I'm going to read that live on the air. It says, as you've likely just seen, the release of The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. We're sure this news is just as disappointing to you as it is to us. We wanted to reach out to all of you in our community to give you a little bit more information. The good news is we are nearly done with development of The Last of Us Part 2. We are in the midst of fixing our final bugs. However, even with us finishing the game, we are faced with the reality that due to the logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. We want to make sure everyone gets to play The Last of Us 2 around the same time, ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experience for everyone. This meant delaying the game until such a time where we can solve these logistic issues. We are humbled. We are bummed about this decision, but ultimately understand that it's what's best for it's what's best and fair to all of our players. We're hoping that this won't be a long delay, but we'll update you as soon as we have more information to share. And of course, it says we wish you all, your families and your friends, the best of health. Thank you for being amazing fans and your continued support. Stay safe. Okay, so here's the thing. One of the issues that I don't think was brought up last night on Salty's show, and I immediately want to go to BitCloud on this. We have heard for weeks now that Square Enix was racing to get Final Fantasy VII out, which they did. and they were in such I guess a panic to get it out there. They released, they broke their own street date, which is we have never seen that. At least I've never seen that as long as I've been gaming, for a company as big as Square Enix, for a game as big as Final Fantasy VII to get it out there.
Right, this is your holy gem.
Yes, this is their holy gem. That is absolutely correct. And I think what we've heard and what I've read is that, again, the disc production was becoming a problem. And, I want to say this, and I have to give credit to Gaming Forte. Obviously Gaming Forte not only was on yesterday's Xbox Factor podcast, but he's on Primetime Gaming every Monday evening, and he actually made a statement to we have to talk about, Big Cloud, and of course the rest of the panel, is that this just goes to show you that even though digital is leading the charge in gaming in 2020,
Physical here to stay.
Physical disc, especially on the PlayStation side, is much bigger than people are giving it credit for. That is why I personally think that the major delay isn't so much that they can't finish the bugs fixing aspect of The Last of Us 2. I don't think they can actually press the disc or get it to someone that's going to be able to sell it and ship it. So, Big Cloud, first of all, last night your tone about the delay was very telling. Like, it was like, I think, a gut punch to you personally, because this is a game that you personally, as a huge Sony fan and a tremendous trophy hunter, were looking forward to, like the millions of people. What are your theories regarding it? Do you agree with me that you think that the disc pressing issue could be at the cusp of what really caused this delay?
Yeah. So looking at the situation again, I had my schedule set like everybody else here on this panel. Like Resident Evil 3, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna donate this amount of time to Resident Evil 3. Why? Because I love the game. And I was like, okay, when it comes to Last of Us 2, regardless if it has the multiplayer elements or not, I'm going to be all over this. The fact that I don't even have a date for the game. Because remember, they just said, hey, look, it's delayed indefinitely. So they didn't even give you a date for this game. And that goes with Dying Light 2. I remember Dying Light 2 doesn't have a date. And they also confirmed that Iron Man VR also doesn't have a date.
I was looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, so it's like everything was just pushed back, and now I get it. Now my reaction to it, it was like a gut punch. It was like, I've been looking forward to this game for the longest. Like, I really wanted to play this for the longest. I really wanted to get closure for Ellie, right? I wanted to see what happens to her, what exactly has happened in the 5-year gap, right? It was like 5 years, something like that gap. I really want to see what happened. And now I have to wait even longer, and potentially I won't be able to play it. Well, I know I'll be able to play it on this current gen systems, but by the time we see it again, Boom, I don't think any of us will want to.
That's a great point. I
don't think any of us want to. I honestly do. I think we're all going to be wanting to play it on the new system. Because remember, let's keep it real. Like, since they're pushing this back and they haven't even given you a date, you best believe this game just went into the PS5's launch window.
I know I would do it.
Exactly. This immediately hit the spotlight for PS5. Like, this needs to be the game that we're gonna push
to your point. To your point, and I like the way you're thinking. Just imagine this for a second. Now, we've been talking a lot of Xbox, right? Xbox is gonna have Halo, right? That's Infinite, that's the lead dog. It would be pretty interesting and exciting for me as a gamer. I think everybody who supports multiple consoles, that when you bring home both of these consoles, because we know we're going to effing do it, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Each one of us are going to be like, holy shit, what do I play first?
Do
I play Halo Infinite or do I play Last of Us? Because I think they're going to launch real close, and I think that would be so good for gaming. That'll be the first time we have massive launch titles for the console, because we never had none that big. Goosebumps, and we don't even know if this is a reality.
Exactly, we haven't even gotten to like the reality of things. But when you look at the track record of every console, we never had like no insane launch title like that to start the gen off. It's always kind of like filler or stuff that you can throw at a board type of thing to to get you out there. I like tech demos. So again, I honestly do believe that this game could be in that launch window.
Me too.
And to further add on to it, I honestly at this point in time, since again the whole disc production thing is an issue, people are losing their jobs, right? A lot of these companies like GameStop are closing doors until the pandemic settles down. I can see games like Cyberpunk. I can see games like Ghost of Tsushima, and hell, even Halo Infinite get delayed.
Yeah,
I can see them get delayed. And honestly, when you don't have GameStop as like the store runner, right? When it comes to gaming consoles sales, I would not be surprised if PS5 or Series X got delayed a little bit.
You know, it's funny. People are saying that in the chat, and as much as I have to applaud both Sony and Microsoft for coming out and saying,
control the market, yeah.
Right, because they both been. This happened. I believe it was this week or the end of last week, where they both came out and said, "Hey, listen, we can't control what's going to if this thing gets worse, but we are
already preparing you for the inevitable."
Yeah, they've already said that we don't know, but we're scheduled.
Yeah.
Time. So
even if you're scheduled, you can't meet it sometimes. You know,
where the best game that we get might be Resident Evil 3, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And Resident Evil 3 again, like I don't know, I know this is one of the top, so I'm not really going to Resident Evil 3, but again, you get what I'm saying. Like, there's so many games we got right now: Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 3, and a lot of stuff here. I think it's fine for everybody. I can say that with confidence that it's fine for everybody in the chat. To the 132 people watching, we're fine right now. We got plenty of games to hold us over until we get to the
Everybody has a backlog of 50 plus games.
I got a huge backlog.
That is backlog central for me right now, dude.
Yeah, I have so many. Like I can fire up this PS4 right now, and you'd be shocked by the games I got that's going to be on the platinum list that I have.
I got news for you. All of this possible delay talk is pushing me to actually buying and playing my first Animal Crossing. Like, I've never played it, and I see everybody playing and putting videos, and I'm like, how am I missing this? How am I missing?
Go for it.
Go for it, man.
Go for it. But I don't want to obviously drag this on. But again, like I said, like the world is in a state of panic, right?
Yes.
And
for good reason too. This isn't a joke. This is for good reason. People are scared. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, people don't want to go to work. We're actually being ordered to stay home.
Yes.
We'll be fined. It just. The world is not in the best shape to launch The Last of Us 2 in its perfect 110% strength type of thing. If you can't appease to the physical sales, but only strictly to digital, newsflash, not everybody wants digital. They want physical. People want this. Yes. People bought the collector's edition. Why? Because they want to own the disc. A lot of people want this. They want those hard, cover cases. They want that stuff.
Yeah, so, first of all, who doesn't want a collector's tin? Because I know I do.
Who doesn't? Especially if it's cool and it's really well done. I know damn well I will be on that. So again, and that goes to Tsushima. I know Ghost of Tsushima had one of the coolest looks. And again, I pre-ordered
that MF as soon as it went live, dude. I was not messing around. I want that. I want that.
Exactly. But again, it's a bad time. It really is a bad time. And I honestly do think that a lot of these games that we were looking forward to are going to be pushed back. And it's crazy. And it hurts for me to say that. But as of right now, none of us, I mean, we can talk about the specs, we can talk about the consoles, whatever. But one thing none of us can predict is the way the market goes and the market shift. And with the economy and how bad it is right now. And again, us and like basically on martial law at this point, stay home. I don't see why
we're close.
Yeah, we're definitely close. So again, I honestly think this is going to be pushed back even further for a lot of these games. That's my take.
No, it's a great point. Let me bring in Mr. Badbit, our other resident PlayStation first player. And I hate saying PlayStation guy.
Don't worry about it. So I'll make this very brief because my brother just came with supplies, so I'll be right back after this.
You know what? No. I'll tell you what you do. Go take care of your business, and we'll bring you back in at the end. Yeah,
don't worry about it. I'll be here.
Okay, yeah, we'll bring you back in. So you know what, Sean D, let me get your opinion on this because Sean D, you've been on the show a couple of times. A lot of people really like the energy and information that you bring while you're here. So I'm interested to get your feelings on on the delay, on the potential of other delays. And do you agree with the assessment that both Big Cloud and I have with the discs pressing being an issue in that, of course, physical sales being much bigger than people give it credit for?
So I think it's less to do with the actual discs being made themselves and more about the distribution of it.
Oh, okay.
So we know that Square Enix just had the big issue with Final Fantasy VII, and The Last of Us 2 is kind of like Sony's like darling. They want to make sure that when that goes out, it goes out right. They don't want any issues with like some people not receiving their copies when they ordered it. They want a very like smooth launch as possible, and that's I think pretty much why they did an indefinite delay on it. Something else everybody's got to kind of get is that entertainment as a whole is going to start getting really skimp.
Yes.
Like TV, music. Well, music probably be okay due to the fact that a lot of people release on online, but video games and everything's going to get real skimp for a while. Thank God we do have backlogs. I'm working on it right now, but this is definitely going to be held back probably around to the PS5 launch. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's okay. It's definitely nothing to do with the game itself. The game, I think, is perfectly fine.
Well, look at some of the screenshots. And let me bring up one that I found that I was literally moved. Look at this shot of Ellie. Holy cow! And this is on a PlayStation 4 Pro, or probably on a Pro. That's incredible. So the game is done. The game is going to probably win award after award, and for good reason. For good reason, because The Last of Us, the original, is considered by many one of many generations' finest titles, and I expect 2 to follow suit.
Yeah, and this whole situation is just something unprecedented. Like we've never had anything like this ever happen. So everybody's kind of like learning how to deal with it as we go. A lot of studios that aren't used to working from home are now working from home. So the majority of games are going to be delayed. I saw some people in the chat were like that PlayStation will be delayed, but Xbox won't. No, it's going to be across the board.
I think I think if something happens to one, I think you could pretty much guarantee it's going to happen to the other.
Exactly. Yeah. Both sides value their actual workers. You know, they're not.
Yes. Well, I mean, that Phil Spencer interview, he came right out and said the safety of my employees is paramount.
Exactly. He basically geared you up. If it needs to happen, it's going to get delayed. So
I got to be honest, it doesn't matter who's saying that. Whether that's Jim Ryan, whether that's Phil Spencer, whether that's Bowser at Nintendo, they're leaders. And as a leader, they have to make sure that even though gaming and business is important to them, the people, at the end of the day, the people are actually more important than numbers and sales and figures. And I like to see that, to be honest.
Yeah. And I mean, I know the delays suck. It's just something we got to deal with.
Yep.
Hopefully, I'm like hoping that things start to kind of turn around towards the fall period. So like November is when I'm actually thinking that everything starts to kind of get back to normal. I know like Bit, you said you're hoping that June, like, yeah, I don't really see that happening as far as everything getting back to normal. Maybe we'll be past the climax of the whole situation, but as far as production getting back to normal, probably late.
It'll take longer.
Yeah, probably definitely November is when I see this happening. Hopefully. It could be something that, I mean, some places are setting up for next year's when we'll start being back to normal. Really crazy situation.
You know, real quick, I just have to give a big shout out to a very good friend of the channel, very generous friend of the channel, Elemental Pio, who was actually one of the Patreon winners. He won a $10 gift card to Xbox. Hopefully he used that to buy Resident Evil or something. He actually brings up a really great point. He says this: how about Sony and Naughty Dog releasing a demo digitally on a PSN? My God, that is... I didn't even think about that. And I think that would be so... It would be so cool to be able to say, listen, This is the demo that we had scheduled for PAX East that we backed out of because of this is if you remember, PAX East Sony was one of the first companies to pull their people, right? And this was the demo that was supposed to be on the show floor. I don't know in how they would be able to do it, but I think that would be so big for the community. I think that would be so big for Naughty Dog. I think it would be so big for Sony, and it would really be that shot in the arm that Sony, or at least the PlayStation needs, because obviously they kind of have not been hitting on all cylinders. They've stalled out a little bit, and I think that this would be a great way to kind of, I don't know, I guess calm some people's fears. Right, get people excited about the brand again. People like BitCloud, who's really disappointed that one of his most anticipated PlayStation 4 games ever, potentially, he gets to play even for even if it's for an hour. Because I don't know. I mean, again, for me, like Resident Evil 3, I didn't even start playing. I'm ashamed to say it. I fell asleep like an old man last night, and I mean,
we did go to them near 1 o'clock or midnight.
I couldn't. I watched Sonic with the Misses, which was great, by the way, and I could not beat the sleep back because I'm not a young man anymore. But I'm gonna play as soon as the show is done.
Yeah,
but it would be really awesome to get a demo of this game, and it would be great for, of course, the people. Archimedes, let me bring you on in here on this. First of all, what are your thoughts of the delay? Do you agree with everyone that it is a combination of a very unusual world scenario we're dealing with? The fact that they can't press as many discs as they'd like, and or get those discs to the people that actually go out and buy them. And what are your thoughts on the potential of Naughty Dog, in good faith, releasing a demo to the community?
Well, I can't wrap my head around the idea of having a demo. That is would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because yesterday when I read that The Last of Us 2 got delayed, I was immediately, damn it, it's one of my most anticipated games this year, and well, I've been waiting for it actually. Not just for The Last of Us. I expect a lot of games to be delayed. There are so many logistical reasons you can think of right now why it is difficult to launch such a game. And my first thought was, well, why did they delay it indefinitely? And the only reason I came up with is that they want to make it a launch title for the PS5. Not meaning that they won't release it on the PS4. They will release it on both systems.
It's going to be a cross-generational release for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But it would only make sense now if you delay it for a couple of months now to then just use it as a big AAA blockbuster to release with your new shiny console. I don't know what Sony has in line for the launch lineup. Usually Sony didn't launch with the biggest bangers in previous generations, and this time they really could do that with The Last of Us. I would be fine with that. Don't take it the wrong way. I would actually prefer it then rather than playing it a month or two before the PS5 comes out. Then I'd rather wait and play it on the PS5. I think it is definitely, or the reason for it definitely is the physical copies. I also think that they are not sure whether people want to invest right now in video games, to be honest.
No, it's true.
If you think about it, the launch would be around about 2 months from now. Nobody knows in which state the economy will be by then. And my wife and I, we also already talked about it. What do? If one of us gets unemployed or this and that, and of course you take precautions. And I think a lot of people are doing that right now. And
you have to. You just don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you just don't know. And in the middle of that, investing into video games, I'm not saying I'm not doing it anymore, but I definitely reconsider a couple of my purchases, and I'm not the only one. So moving that out for a couple of months to see just how the whole world situation will develop makes only sense.
Yeah, I mean everything. Look, there is. I mean, besides the simplicity of, oh, I can't play my video game. We all have to put those opinions to the side and look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is right now we are experiencing something that is of a global situation that we've never seen. I've already talked about this being almost 50 years old this September. What we're seeing, and for someone who literally was feet to the ground on ground zero during 9/11, I can tell you that what we're dealing with is so much bigger. It almost makes 9/11 like a minute situation, and we lost over 3,000 people that day, and three times that amount since. That a lot of people don't talk about how many people have actually died from 9/11 illnesses, breathing that air. So it's not just the 3,000; it is thousands more afterwards. And what we're seeing now is something that it's hard to. It's actually hard to sometimes sit down and think about, right? Like it is a scary situation because it is so beyond our control. And I'll say this: thank God we have gaming. Thank God we have entertainment like movies and stuff, because sometimes you just kind of got to get away. And believe it or not, I know a lot of people have thanked me for doing all of the extra content I'm doing. Folks, listen, I appreciate the thanks, to be honest with you. I appreciate the generosity that continues to come in. But at the same time, understand that by me writing these shows and getting on the air, it's helping me as well. It's not just a one-way street; it's a two-way street, because talking to you guys and gals is calming myself, right? Talking about video games pulls me away from the realities of the world, and so it is definitely one hand washing the other. But let's get back into, of course, why we're here. And we're here to talk about games. And Mr. Badbit, I want to bring you back in. Yeah, I saw that you messaged you back in. Now, we all have opinions on the delay. One of the things that was brought up by our very good chat member, Elemental Pio, he asked a question. I want to pose that question to you and then get your opinion on the current situation. Sure. He asked, what if Naughty Dog drops a Last of Us 2 demo? And we were all tickled pink with the idea, because I think not only would that be great for the game, not that it really needs it because it's going to be a masterpiece, but it would be great for the community at large, as well as, in my opinion, a shot in the arm for Sony's PR. Because, right now they're not hitting on all cylinders, and for them to drop a demo now on PSN would be big.
It would be big. Unfortunately, though, you have to think about the source code, the net code, data miners coming in and revealing things in the game.
So basically, the scumbags of the internet has just ruined our dreams.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah, unfortunately, people are awful. Now, are there ways around it? Yes, but is it possible? No. I maybe they give us something similar that they showed people like a good friend of the show, Stephen Tilley, where they gave him like a 2-hour demo, and it was awesome. But I doubt that, just because of, again, source code, net code, previous demos might not be as shiny as others. So to me, no, unfortunately. But for the way that I see things, I'm a huge Last of Us fan. This is the game that shifted the tide for me. This is the game where I started to not just take PlayStation more seriously, but go, this is going to be the console I game on. I am not disappointed. I am not sad. I am not even indifferent. There are so many bigger things to worry about than a video game being delayed. That's how I come off of it. I am absolutely, I guess indifferent is the word I would use. Indifferent towards it. It's when I was talking to Benji Sales about it a few weeks ago, we were thinking about the possibility, and he telling me that Last of Us could be safe, but it was games that outside of that May window. Now that we've seen where we're going to be during the apex of this Fallout that we're going to experience. It's just not in the cards. And I think what you guys stated earlier is disc production is all over the world, but it's also here in the States.
Yes.
Activision, I don't know where PlayStation's facility is, but probably somewhere in California or somewhere Midwest. And, right now, a lot of factories are kind of not shuttering, but halting production, furloughing staff. As I know, my father, he works in the printing presses. He's almost unaffected because a lot of medical supplies and food needs boxes to be printed. And so they're actually going to more and more printing presses to make more and more boxes because they're selling a crap ton at the moment. But from what I've been told, distributors are scared, and it's a number of things. To not enough people are being staffed to work these positions. There's also governmental regulations that are being stricter than ever to disinfect the facilities. So there's multiple. It's a multifaceted problem that is a worldwide situation. That this game, like we've been saying for the past 30 minutes now, it's not going to be the last game we're going to see here. And Phil Spencer just went out the other day going, hey, it'll be, we're pretty positive that will come out. But honest to God, right now, everything is up in the air. I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure that either of these consoles are coming out in November. I don't think anybody has the proof that says otherwise.
Listen, you can't even say if your store down the block is going to have toilet paper tomorrow, let alone
exactly. And that's the thing.
Console launch.
These things might sound a little depressing. They'll be there at the end of the day. It's more important that you and these companies, like, again, we'll point out Phil Spencer going, I'd like to put out the Xbox on in November, but the safety of my employees are more important.
Yep.
People come first. And I saw a thing that absolutely angered me yesterday was this woe's me mentality. People starting rumors and speculations that like Sony's actually behind the scenes lying about the game, and it's actually unfinished, and they still need and people being selfish about well, where's my copy? Why can't they just bring it out digital? It's just like, guys, we need to worry about our grandparents. We need to worry about TP. We got to worry about feeding ourselves, where the next paycheck's going to be. Like there are
really great points, really going deep, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting angry now. It's just at the end of the day, guys.
Don't do it, Joe. Calm down.
The bad persona is coming, but it's just like it sucks because a lot of games that we're excited for will be pushed back. Now, the one thing that I will say, bringing back to Joe, and people on the internet not pissing me off, is that could this be a PlayStation 5 cross PS4 game?
Yes.
That could be something where I would like to see how that game pans out, where, on the front of the label now, it just says PlayStation and not PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, it just says PlayStation. And then you're able to say, hey, listen, this disc will work on both consoles. I mean, it already will, but like state that, like, I don't know, the game will be running true 4K 60 FPS on the PS5, and it'll work, 4K 30 FPS or whatever on the PlayStation 4. You don't need to make the biggest argument of why you need to play this game on a PS5. People are going to buy this game like crazy. It sells like hotcakes. And no matter what, as long as you get the information that this game is a cross-generational game, first and foremost, this game's going to fly off the shelves. It already will. And, there's been times in the PS3 era, actually, talk about God of War 2. God of War 2 launched March 13th, 2007. The PS3 launched November 11th, 2006. So there's been times where games have been delayed outside of a generation, and they still come out and they're still super successful. So to me, it's all about making sure that if these consoles could come out in November, cool. If they can't, hopefully they just get pushed back till March. Get that tax season money in. That's what I'm. But at the end of the day, I don't care how many units either of these consoles sells or if they're delayed. I just really want people to be safe.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about people. That's a great point. I'm going to bring Studio Nintendo Direct in here on this one. But before I do, let me catch up with a super chat. JD Gamer, very good friend of the channel, very generous friend of the channel, says he drops a $5 super chat and says this: just stopping through to say great job, panel, and stay safe, folks. I just did an all-nighter on the front lines of C-19, and it's getting real out here. Well, first of all, dude, make sure that you are safe. Thank you for, of course, your generosity and popping in. And at the end of the day, man, it's all about safety. So thank you for your service, whatever it is that you're doing, because if you're on the front lines, you're doing something important. So we want to thank you for that. Nintendo, let me get you in on this. Obviously, delays are something that gamers are used to. And the one thing that I said in the opening of this topic is one of the major reasons why I respect Neil Druckmann and that entire team at Naughty Dog is because even though they will disappoint fans, they want to put out the best product possible. And has never, pardon me, shied away from a delay. And The Last of Us 2 has been delayed. Now, this is I think, the second or third time. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's fine. What are your thoughts on the delay? Are you surprised by this big one? Because this is the big one. Do you expect others to follow suit? And do you agree or disagree on the potential of a demo coming?
Let's start with the delay. I mean, the delay, I'm not gonna say it was inevitable, but they had to do something because once again, everybody's saying that, to repeat, everybody's saying, one, entertainment's taking a hit altogether, like Shandy said. And the safety of employees come first. Nobody knows what's going on. We don't know if the game's going to get distributed or not. There's a lot of what ifs in the air. So for them to delay it, that makes a lot of sense. To whenever the best time would be. Like I said, that's probably the best decision that they could have made. And I agree with it. It does stink for gamers. It's not a good thing for us, right? Like, we want to play the game as soon as possible, but things happen in the world. We kind of just have to deal with it. We kind of have to go with by a day basis on this situation. So yes, it just is what it is. We have to accept it, whatever. But as far as the demo goes, I agree with I can't remember who was it that brought the data mining issue, but I agree.
Oh, that was Mr. Badbit.
Yeah, I agree 100% because we had already seen when that Final Fantasy VII demo came out how many people were data mining it already, and I had to go ahead and just block myself off from spoilers on that. So I agree with him on that one. I feel like, yeah, that would be cool if they had it out. I think it would be good for Sony and the community, but data miners are always out there that want to just find everything out ahead of time and ruin the experience,
ruin it for everyone,
entire community. And so I agree with that 100%. And as far as like future delays, man, here's the deal. It's bad in entertainment period whenever, one, you have Bleacher Report streaming Madden games on Twitch and people are betting on those games. You can tell it's getting at a bad point when that's happening. You can tell it's getting at a bad point when you have people like John Legend and live music artists who know they can't do live performances now. They're streaming on Twitch, and they're streaming their live performances on Twitch. Like, you can just tell we're sort of entering a weird sort of time for entertainment across the board. So I don't know, like we just gonna have to hold on to our butts, like Samuel L. Jackson said in Jurassic Park. Hold on to your butts, because it's gonna get weird. It's gonna get way weird. But as far as like the delay, I think it was the best decision. I'm really interested to see though, to see what Nintendo is going to do, because they just had that direct and they had a few games with May launches in that direct with the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and such. That's going to be a big one with the physical edition, the special edition. I wonder what they're going to do with that, because they had already said before the direct started that all these dates were subject to change. I wonder how soon they are going to change that date, because that was going to be a big release for them. So I'm waiting to see how they're going to treat the situation. But it is what it is. If you're upset, clear your backlog. That's the best way I can say about it. Because there's nothing else we can do about it. You can complain, you can kick, you can scream, but guess what? We're all gonna have to deal with it. So
real talk, I might be able to actually play Persona 5.
No, seriously, no. Seriously, I have a list of games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I need to finish that. Persona 5's in that list. As soon as we have thank God we have Final Fantasy 7 still coming out because I can still play that. But I'm just going through backlog. This is a great time for me. Dragon Quest is one that I never got to finish. I'll finish that one. So there's just a ton of RPGs, a ton of games that are in my backlog right now that I am just finally the monkey is off my back of new games. That monkey's off my back. It's just time to get to the backlog.
There's nothing more amusing and fun to know that we're going to, as gamers, take a bad situation and somehow eke some good out of it, and chopping down our mammoth backlog that we all have. Like, for instance,
playing as you said that. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go. As a matter of fact, what just jumped into Game Pass? Oh my God, it was
so much dropped in the Game Pass, and that's my problem too. My problem was looking at that mountain that was Game Pass.
Yeah, it was on PlayStation only, and it finally came to Xbox. What with the female character? Is it like a? It's like a. What is it?
Come on, Nier.
Yes, Nier Automata, dude. I played the demo, and my brother beat it actually 3 times. I cannot wait because obviously I have Resident Evil 3 takes precedent over everything, but I'm definitely jumping into. That's one of the games I never got around to playing. So yes, backlog is key. Real quick, let me just shout out a good friend of the show. Buck Roger is talking about some Nintendo news, which actually is going to be jumping right into in the next topic because I'm a huge Mario fan and we got something to talk about. Shane Tomlin drops an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat and says this: great show, Boom. Thanks for keeping us entertained. Love Bad Bit, true gamer who prefers PS but hopes no Xbox jumps on delays, not the time. That's a great point, dude. And as we cross 200 plus people in the chat watching live, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you for allowing me to have a platform to speak to you each and every time I do a live show. So, you know what, Nintendo Direct, I want to bring you back right in here because we're going to be talking some Nintendo news, which is why I really wanted you on this show because, look, in a story that I pulled from none other than BusinessInsider.com, they're reporting, along with several other big-time, mainstream media gaming sites, that the best and most popular Super Mario games are getting remastered for the Nintendo Switch, according to these new reports. And why this is exciting is because we're coming up on, and I mean, it's going to be the 35th anniversary of Mario as a iconic character, not only for Nintendo but the world. And there are so many of us, not only in this chat but on this panel, that have fond and unbelievably great memories with this particular character. And why I'm actually, you know what, why I'm excited to talk about this story, because it's lighthearted. And I think that right now we need lightheartedness in this world. And I like that Nintendo is still making a big deal about their very famous Italian, American plumber and his birthday. And here are the 3 games. I listen, folks, I'm a big old nerd. Okay, and I'm getting goosebumps already just talking about the 3 games because they were all I hate to use the word life-changing, but I'm going to say life-changing if you are into video games. And these are the 3 titles that are going to get remastered. Super Mario 64, the pinnacle, I think, of all Mario games because it was 3D. Right, it was the first time that we could actually look around the world in a 360-degree angle. And for me, my God, I'll never forget opening up and playing that day one, and it was like watching magic happen in front of you. Mario, one of my favorite GameCube games of all time, Super Mario Sunshine. I have been begging and banging this drum to get this over the Switch, and it's finally happening. And the last, and certainly not least, that saw its life on the Wii is Super Mario Galaxy. Another absolutely incredible title that everyone, I guarantee you there is a significant amount of Switch owners that never played any of these games, and now we're going to get a chance to do it. I hope that they release them soon. I don't care if they're full $60 a piece. I don't care. I'm buying every one of them. And they're all getting the remaster treatment, which is exciting because Nintendo does it right. Like if Nintendo is going into their back IP catalog and whipping it out, these 3 particular titles, rest assured you are going to be blown away. And it's actually, which is even more exciting, if I can add more layers to this delicious cake I'm trying to bake, is that it's not just those 3 titles. There are some of the best Mario titles ever released, and by far the most requested. But we're also getting I don't want to know if they're rehashes or re-releases, but Mario other games that were on other consoles that never made it over to the Switch are coming. So we're going to be bathing in Mario titles. Nintendo Direct, what are your thoughts on this? And it's basically all but confirmed by Nintendo because Eurogamer talked about it. Everyone is talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it, man. It's a good. When I heard this news, it was great news. Good. It was great news, especially in the time that we're in. It was a good day. Like you said, there's nothing more iconic than Super Mario 64. I think that's the big one because, 1996, the first time, just think about in 1996 when the first time you saw Mario in 3D in that castle, that was just something that you had never seen before. There was such an iconic moment, an iconic game for the time. And even still to this day, it's a fun game to play. Yeah, the game did have its flaws because it was very ambitious, but it was still a fun game to play. Seeing that remastered and redone, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to just give it the Odyssey treatment and put it in that engine and redo it, or if it's just going to be a port. I don't know how they're going to do it. I hope it would be the first one. I hope that they give it the Odyssey treatment, remaster it.
Yes.
Make sure the mechanics are solid, and just put the game in there. That would be the thing. The one though that I'm most excited for is Super Mario Sunshine. The Nintendo GameCube is my all-time favorite gaming console ever. Still to this day, I adore that entire gaming library. So Sunshine is the one that I'm looking forward to the most. That is near and dear to my heart. My thing though is, like you said, you don't care if they're going to be $60 a piece, but I do. That's one thing. That is the one thing that I've feared the most about this. And Nintendo is they're really good. They're really great about this. They're really great about here's an old game. You're going to pay full price for it. They're really good about that. Mm-hmm. There's one thing you can always guarantee is that probably will happen from Nintendo. I would hope that they're not going to be full price, separate. I was hoping for some sort of bundle, but we doubt that's going to happen. When Nintendo sees dollar signs, they're going to take advantage of every bit that they can get. And so that's really my only biggest concern with this news coming out is, what are the prices going to be? Are they going to be bundled? Are they going to be separate? Please don't charge me, $59.99 for, every game. I $49.99, $39.99, somewhere around there, you can do that. But I know that my wishes will probably not happen. They will probably end up being full price because it is Mario. It is Nintendo's flagship franchise, and they could probably get away with it. So that's the only thing that I'm like, when I heard this, I was like, yes. And then I started to go through the logistics of the pricing. I was like, oh man, these are probably going to be $60 a piece.
Let me ask you this. Okay, first of all, the $60. I know that. Okay, I'll say this right now. It's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm jumping it. I'm jumping at $60, but there are a couple of reasons why it's probably not going to be $60. With the current world situation, there are a lot of people that are hurting for money. And people are some are lucky to even pay their rent. So I think that Nintendo's going to have to look at this from a responsible angle, because we don't know how long this is going to last. Some people on this panel have already suggested that we may not see a change until November 2020. And Jesus, could you imagine another 6 months of this? It's hard to even fathom, right? So I think that if Nintendo is going to do this, and I'm hoping that the money is put on the secondary aspect of their ideology, where they said, you know what, Mario is a character that could cheer up a lot of people. Let's make it reasonable. $29.99 per title. I think that would be fair. Do we think that's going to happen though, Nintendo? What do you think? No, go ahead.
No, sorry, my kids were in here and they just distracted me. What was the last part of what you just said there? Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, dude. Listen, life is life. The question is, do you think that it would be better for Nintendo to potentially price these titles at an affordable and reasonable $30, $29.99?
Oh yeah. I think that would be great if they did, and that would be my hope. Like I said, once again, we this hasn't. It's all been but confirmed by Nintendo, so we don't know when. We don't know when. We just know everybody's stating that they're coming. So we don't know when. If this could be next year, for all we know, this could be in March of next year. It could be November of this year. We don't know. I think it all depends on timing, honestly. If it comes out holiday this year, then I think they would benefit from being responsible, making the games, $30, $40 there. If it's later, they could probably, push it. I think it all just depends on timing. In my honest opinion, it all depends on the timing of when they want to put this out. Because like I said, every decision's on the eggshells right now as far as what everybody's trying to do. So it's all timing from Nintendo at this point.
No, it makes perfect sense. Let me get a Big Cloud in here. Big Cloud, obviously, you are someone that's been gaming for a while. Does the Mario franchise, does Nintendo hold a candle to your love of the PlayStation brand? Is that where you started? And what are your thoughts on the potential of HD remasters of these three iconic titles?
I mean, we all grew up with Nintendo in one shape or another, whether it be like the Super Nintendo, or if you go back to like the 64, everybody had a Nintendo at one point. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they were to remaster this, because they kind of done that already with like some of the Wii U titles, if not all the Wii U titles so far on the Switch.
Right.
So they went back and got some of the cult classics. Again, that's I see them doing it for sure, and they'll definitely sell. That's one thing about Mario. Like, people can say milked Mario by itself, it can sell the same numbers and always grow even more with each particular installment, which is crazy. And I guess you can say nostalgia is just a hell of a drug at this point.
I mean, look, we can expect big things this year, because obviously it's the 35th anniversary, or the 35th birthday of Mario and that franchise. So it is going to be done up right. It's unfortunate that we're dealing with a pandemic to kind of, put a bit of a downer on the fun situation. But at the same time, I think that if Nintendo moves forward with this and does release these games, it could potentially bring some joy to a time where we kind of need it.
Well, not just that though, it's going to push the sales numbers even higher, because all they got to do is come out with a custom Switch Lite, like anniversary style Mario Switch Lite.
Done. I'd buy it.
like that alone would sell.
Nintendo, how dare you?
Hold on. You did not just say a Mario edition of a Switch Lite.
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh!
Think about it. Red, white buttons.
I know. I know. I'm thinking about it now.
Maybe on the side or on the back of it.
I'm thinking about it, and it's burning a hole in my pocket. So
yeah, like a custom dock to go with the OG version. That's if they were to save this for, because now there's reports of like a Switch Pro.
Do you secretly work for their marketing firm? That's what I want to know.
No, I mean, Nintendo is quick, and I just know Nintendo. Nintendo knows their audience. They know what sells. They know what you'll buy. And they know how to add more. They know how to capitalize on it. And Microsoft did this too with 360. Remember, like they had like the Star Wars 360, the Red 360. They had all this stuff, and then they got the.
I still have that. I have that in storage, mint condition.
Yeah. See, you remember the Super Slim 360, the last Slim, the black one with the new ventilation, and it like stopped overheating somewhat. That one. that one right there again, it was a classic look for 360. Actually, I missed that one. Ironically, I missed that one. But again, to go back to this, yeah, Nintendo knows how to sell their platform for sure. And again, if they're working on a Metroid, expect it for Metroid. They were to do that for Metroid. But for this Mario thing, oh yeah, they're gonna go all out for Mario. I guarantee you, the first video you'll see of this, if it does happen, it won't be from a Nintendo representative in terms of gameplay or like the actual like box reveal and all that. You'll see it from a YouTuber. I don't know if you ever heard of Lamar Wilson.
Yeah.
No, yes.
You remember Lamar Wilson? Yeah.
Yes.
Lamar Wilson will be the first one to show
YouTubers.
Yeah, they'll show it with Lamar Wilson, and they always do this. They always like send their stuff to Lamar Wilson.
Well, he's first of all, his following is ridiculous, but his passion and his excitement for what he gets, that's not fake. A lot of people, try to insinuate that he goes overboard. I think that's how he is in real life. And I love watching his stuff. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, like Microsoft flies there and gives them like consoles to show off
all the time.
You'll see that for Series X for sure.
Yes,
they did that for Sony with Pro. So you'll see this for sure with Nintendo, and they'll probably give them like a stand to go with it. But you'll see all this stuff. Trust me, they're going to capitalize on the Mario Switch. Yeah, one way, shape, or form. Either it's going to be the Lite, or they'll save this for the Switch Pro and have that as like an incentive for you to buy.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm thinking that Switch Pro is going to happen. Like I do believe it's just not happening now. Let's be honest, it's not smart to launch it now.
Yeah, you couldn't now anyway with the production issues that are going on. Sure.
Yeah, it's not not just that though, but like the Switch Lite is exceeding their expectations.
Dude, it is. I read that article. It has literally doubled or even close to
200%. They went up. Basically, it was crazy. Ridiculous. They're like past 50-60 million right now, and they haven't even been out as long as PS4 or Xbox One. They haven't been out there as long. So yeah, they're really about to make some history. I honestly think they'll probably reach up there with they'll pass the Wii for sure, but it makes you wonder. Be up there with PS2 numbers. That's the question.
Well, I mean, look,
I don't know about that.
If we've seen, if there's one thing that we've seen from Nintendo over the years of the DS and the 3DS and the S, the XL, 3DS, they just know how to market their hardware. They know when's the right time to bring out the new hardware. And I'm going to say this. I myself are probably responsible for their stock numbers going up because I buy just about every new effing piece of hardware. I did not buy a Lite. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, I love my Lite.
But I'm going to say this while I'm on the air. If they do come out with a Mario Lite, God damn it, Nintendo, you're going to get me again, man.
Just go up there, Nick. I'm telling you. They might get up there because Nintendo is notorious for like the pro version. Like they'll have a beefier version. They'll have a light version. They'll have a super light or, they'll always find a way to sell it. So I do think.
And I'll buy it. I'm saying it now. I'll buy it. So, well, for really good stuff, dude. Let me catch up on some of these super chats. And I'm going to bring in, of course, Sean D next on this. Game Goons, thank you for being here. And also your generosity. He drops a $5 super chat and says this: they need to throw Donkey Kong a bone. No Donkey Kong, and we would never have heard of Mario. Yeah, you're right. We would never heard of the crazy plumber if it wasn't for Donkey Kong throwing barrels at him. I mean, listen, every character they have is Disney like. They're all iconic. And
maybe limited edition Switch Lite. There you go.
There you go. Well, I'm in. Sin Vendetta, our very good friend and very generous friend of the channel, drops a $10 super chat and says this: speaking of bringing joy to gamers, has this panel seen the announcement trailer of the game Mortal Shell, an amazing looking dark Western fantasy Souls-like action RPG coming out later this year? Yeah. I have not seen that.
Cool. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so I will definitely be checking that out. So, you know what, Sean D, let me bring in on this particular topic regarding Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. For you personally, where does the long-running Italian plumber fall for your love of Nintendo? And are you excited to see them bring back these classics done in an HD format?
I mean, Mario's infinite, man. One thing Nintendo can say, or everybody can like learn from it, as far as other game platform sellers, you never want to abandon your IP, no matter how many times people say, "Oh, we've seen this so many times." You never want to abandon your IP. This is proof right here. Like when they do these remasters, they're gonna sell like gangbusters, even with everything going on. Me personally, I love Super Mario World and Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario. Those are like three of my favorites.
Well, you know what's funny? I'm sorry I didn't read the last part of the story. They've confirmed that there's a new what do you call it? Paper Mario coming out, and as well as they're bringing. And I'm really happy about this because I destroyed the game on the Wii U. The Super Mario 3D World is coming to the Switch as well.
Yeah, Paper Mario. I loved all three of those. Yeah, I mean, this is just smart business by Nintendo. Never give up on your IP. Just keep making it, but make different iterations. I mean, we've seen Mario in tons of different ways to keep it from ever getting old. This is a real smart idea for them. And if they do make a custom Nintendo Switch for it, I mean, come on.
I mean, listen, they know how to print money. I mean, you ever seen the GIF where I think it was the 3DS that was just shooting dollars out of it? It's hilarious, but it's so freaking true because, I mean, come on. It's Nintendo. Again, in an era, and I don't want to keep beating the horse, but right now we need levity. We need fun. We need understanding. Family is at the forefront of what makes Nintendo, at least in my opinion. Some people may vary on mileage and have different opinions, and that's fine. When I think of Nintendo, I think of family. Because Nintendo for me reminds me of all the times that I played with my brother, Neo Mental. All the times that I play with my nephew, who still sits here with me and puts on the mini NES and the mini Super NES and plays games with me that I played at his age and is completely wowed. So yeah, I think that this is great. I cannot wait to see what they come out with. I just hope that we don't have to wait too long. I don't want to wait to the end of the year. I hope that they start releasing this sooner than later. Shandi, anything else you'd like to add before I move on to the next panel member regarding Mario's 35th anniversary?
No, I'm good.
Okay, excellent. So you know what? Let me bring in Mr. Badbit. Mr. Badbit, obviously, you are not as old as I am. You are probably one of the younger panel members that we have here. So I don't necessarily know where your first experience came in with Nintendo, but as a gamer, as an overall rounded gamer that a lot of people really enjoy about your content, as well as the way you conduct yourself on these shows that you're on, is where does Mario fall in? And are you excited to have all of these games brought back to the Nintendo Switch?
Oh, man. So, again, this is the type of gamer that I am, gang. Born a Nintendo kid. Had a Sega Genesis. I didn't understand that there were different consoles because I was a dumb kid. So, like, I love Sonic. I love Mario, though. You know, the old rivalries never stuck to me then. They don't stick to me now. Mario 64 is the first game that my brother completely 100% completed. Wow. Like all 121 stars. Was there Yoshi? I remember the whole thing with Yoshi. I think he was like outside on top of the castle, right, Nintendo?
Yes.
Yeah. Like it. Mario has a special place in my heart, and especially my brother. Like my brother, you know, he's 6 years older than me, and every time he puts he buys a Mario game, it's like he's a kid again. And that's the magic of Nintendo. That's Nintendo to me is the Disney of video games. They're something where we each and every one of us have our own memories with it. And then when we put that cartridges in or we turn on the app, it's magic. So for me, like Super Mario World is my favorite Mario ever. That's the first game that I, as like a 4-year-old, I think I beat. And I have so many fond memories of it. That's when I think of Mario. That's the art style I'm always thinking of. When it comes to this collection, oh my God. Like, boom, you and me, I think are the only people that love Sunshine. I get it. It's
No, Nintendo Direct loves. That's one of his favorite consoles.
His all-time favorite console. That's one of the that's my game.
Sunshine is highly underrated. This is a fantastic Mario.
I'm with friends here. So yeah, no, for me, I love Sunshine. I really, so when it comes to the price, it really does depend. I would love to see this as a bundle, but like I would never see Nintendo selling Mario other than in app form for less than $40. I know they had like some type of, what is it, like I think this was for the Wii. It was like the Mario like collection or like remix. Is a red box.
Yeah, so yes. It was for the Wii. Yes, it's worth a lot of money if you have it.
Oh well, I might be a millionaire. I'll trade it for toilet paper. Anyway, the point is, I would definitely see them bundling something like, you know, Mario 64, maybe remastered ish, you know, in the Odyssey like engine, and then like see Sunshine and maybe Galaxy all bundled together. I would love to see that. And I would pay a top dollar for that. I would pay if it was a collection. I'm getting 3 or more games for $60. Hell yes. And you know, someone also said, and I forgot your name. I'm so sorry, but they're like, low key, the Switch is the best box. I agree, man. I love my Nintendo Switch. That is a console that I have. You know, I'm in love with it. It's the console I always wanted as a kid, and it's here now. So if I can play Super Nintendo like or Super Mario World for realsies on here, not just in their online app, I could play Mario 64. I could play Sunshine. I could play Galaxy. I never got to sink my teeth into Galaxies. Yeah, I'm all in. It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
that is like the perfect description of what you just said. Like it's the console that you always wanted as a kid, the one that you can play at home and then take with you to school or whatever. Like that is the perfect description of the Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm. That is like that's
Absolutely.
the only when we were like kids in the playground, we would always talk about it. You know?
And talk about your game, and then you have to go back home and play it. But then you have to come back to the playground and talk. Now you can take it with you to the playground. Like, oh man, that's crazy.
It's really the first handheld that actually feels like a full-fledged console, and that is what I love about it.
That's what I love about it as well. Like to me, you know, I respect handheld gamers. If you're a handheld person, awesome. I can never get into it. Even like Vita, I always felt like, all right, we're getting there. It's getting close, but not there yet, right? Like the games felt okay. They didn't feel like actual console games. Like to me, a lot of handheld games, if they're not RPGs, kind of feel like surface level, at least in my dumb brain. And so like seeing like I'm playing Animal Crossing, it's Animal Crossing, right? Like I'm playing Mario Odyssey, it's Mario Odyssey. I'm playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It is bar none one of, if not going to be the most inspirational game for the next generation for years to come in terms of level design and what happens in said level. So like that's or interacting with a game like that. So for me, yeah, give me Mario. Again, like the Switch is the thing that when it came out, I was so, oh, this is gonna be bad, it's gonna be dumb, and I always say that because I'm just so happy I was wrong. This ended up being one of my favorite consoles of all time. Love this thing.
Yeah, well, listen, real quick. I know it's just a little off kilter on topic. Did anyone else but me pick up the Daemon Ex Machina controllers for their Switch?
No. I didn't even know those existed.
Dude. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm going to. I don't have a picture ready to go. I'm gonna DM everybody separately. It makes the Switch in your hands feel like nothing you've ever experienced. They are manly, slide-on controllers that make it feel like you're playing. It's almost as if you're holding the Xbox controller.
Oh, they slide to the side?
They slide to the side. Yes, it is.
Oh my god!
My wife, I saw a lot of people talk about it. It's called the Split Pad Pro, It is only about $60, I think.
$9.99 right now. I just found it.
There you go.
I rock the sound.
And you don't have to charge them. They work. You slide it on, they're powered by the console. And guess what? Even when they're on, it slides into the dock perfectly. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not making any money from this. They're not a sponsor of Double
You
Barrel
have
Gaming.
sold me.
Yeah.
You have sold me.
You know what I was using it for? I was just playing the remaster that was stealth dropped of Panzer Dragoon. Oh my God, so good. So good if you didn't play it. You know what? Real quick, let me just catch up this because this could turn into a whole Nintendo podcast. I'm probably going to lose people, but hold on just a second. Let me. I have to get Archimedes in here, but let me just catch up with some of the super chats. JD Gamer drops a $5 super chat. Thank you for your generosity once again, my brother. And he says this: bring back Lunar Silver Story, Star Story, Panzer Dragoon Saga. Yes, which we're getting. Or we're getting the second one. I don't know if they're going to do Saga, but that would be dope. Shining Force, Dragon Force remake, and remake Sonic Adventure 2, remake Link's Awakening. Yeah, I mean, listen, look, all I can say is that Nintendo is just one of those companies that even though sometimes they disappoint us with their pricing, because they do go to the well more often than they're allowed to, and we normally will keep giving them the pass, even though they deserve a punch in the face sometimes. We do all love it. Archimedes, I want to bring you in on here. You have kids. And I think that as a diehard gamer, as someone that has seen this industry grow the way it has, you yourself are going to want to experience these Mario games with your kids. And I think that is what makes Nintendo transcend generations, because they bring back these older titles that you yourself you played as a kid, but now you have an opportunity to experience it again with your family. And I think that is the real magic. Are you excited to see them remaster these 3 classic titles?
Oh, definitely. I was so happy when I saw that news. I mean, I grew up with Mario. My first video game system was the OG Game Boy, and I got it with Super Mario Land. So, and that where it all began, my love for video games. Yeah, and I've had every Nintendo console ever since, every handheld and every main console. And I think I played all Mario games. Maybe I missed one or special release or something, but I played them all. And I was my first idea when it came to when I read that news was really, and it was touched on earlier before, hopefully they actually remaster those games and not just port them over, because I have the Mario 64 port on the Nintendo DS and so on. I buy all these Nintendo games multiple times on every system they are available, and I'd really love to see them these Mario games in the Odyssey engine. That would be awesome. But it's funny that you mentioned my kids. Just the other day, I was my oldest kid is now 3.5 years old, and I was sitting down with him, and I wanted to try Super Mario, the new Super Mario Brothers game that is available on the Switch with him. This was his first interaction with the video game, and it's really
awesome, dude.
Yeah, and he didn't really get it. He was able to push the button to make him jump, but he didn't know how to move the stick to walk Mario. But it was really awesome to see him with a Mario game, the games I grew up and love to this day. And having those in a proper remaster version to introduce it to him in a year or two when he's a little bit older and can actually play them, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I actually, while you were talking, used that to bring up. I'm going to bring up a picture I took of with my Switch, so people could see what the Daemon or Daemon Ex Machina control looks like. Let me just get it to load. Here it is.
Yeah,
this is what it looks like, folks. And yes, it makes the Switch. Let me just take down the banner for a second so everyone get a full. There it is in the flesh. This is this will make your Switch play in a way you're going to want to take it. Like normally I play on the TV. Like I have a nice big, a Samsung 65-inch, bells and whistles all over the place. So I like sitting in front of my couch. Of course, I also like having the, Nintendo controller, the wireless one, of course. But then after getting this setup, I find myself playing more so than not on the go. Like I mean, even though the screen's obviously not the same as size as my Samsung, the controller has always been like, I have big hands, folks. I have big mitts. So this, I mean, listen, folks, I can say this. They are in no way, shape, or form a member of Double Barrel Gaming in regards to being a channel supporter, but I wish they would be. But you know what? Let me bring down this picture. Let me bring it back to, of course.
That reminds me of the UFO thing that was in development at the PC conference. I remember that.
Yes,
Exactly.
it does. It does look like that. It's weird. It looks weird, but I'm telling you, it really is just amazing in your hand. But listen, folks, what I want to do is I want to bring this back around because, like I said, for me personally, I could talk about Nintendo all day long, but I want to bring us back to keeping the show moving, and I want to bring it back to Sony. And I want to bring it back to 2018 when, of course, the stellar God of War. I guess reimagining, if you will, was released, and obviously it won a significant amount of Game of the Year awards, and in my opinion, was well deserved. Well, new information has been unearthed, and apparently, God of War 2 is being teased by Sony Santa Monica's new job posting. Developer has a new boss after Shannon Studstill left to join Google, but I got to be honest with you, it's highly unlikely that his loss is going to affect the quality of the next entry in the long-running franchise. Now, the new job listing isn't the first tease for Sony Santa Monica and what they've put out for a new God of War game. An animator for God of War posted a photo in a motion capture suit suggesting that Santa Monica is now deep into development of the new game in the series. And it's safe to assume that God of War 2 is a given and should use the power of the PlayStation 5 to its advantage. And I'm personally expecting the sequel should show the growth of both not only Kratos but Atreus, his son. Now I'm gonna say something. If you didn't beat the game and you don't want it spoiled, turn it off right now. Well, pause it for a second and just fast forward. Obviously I'm interested to see, and I know that BitCloud is going to be talking about this in a second. The fact that his son was revealed as Loki, and where they're going to take that. I mean, are we going to see him as a teenager? Are we going to see an older, more scruff Kratos? I mean, I don't know. Is it going to take place a year after the original game? Is it 10 years after the original game? I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm super stoked. Now, obviously, Cory Barlog, who I think is he's one of my favorite. Also, he put him in that list of favorite leaders for Sony. The game director of God of War also joked about developing a sequel that isn't God of War, which of course a lot of people got upset about, but take it easy, folks. God of War 2 is coming. Barlog's tweet may not have officially confirmed that the new game is in development, but it seems to many fans that the developer is treating God of War like basically an unspoken secret that I would compare to something like Fable. Like we know Fable's being developed, right? We also know God of War 2 is being developed. Now, it's unclear when the new Sony Santa Monica game could be announced. Sony has officially revealed more PS5 features recently, but they have to have an event I think everyone is hoping for later on in the year that's going to potentially show, even if it's a few seconds of the
like a title card.
Yeah, they have to show something regarding God of War, because obviously it's going to help sell systems just like they did with the PS4, and more importantly, it's going to get people excited for the PS5. So let me get BitCloud in here. BitCloud, obviously, when you talk about God of War, it's easy to equate to what they've done in 2018, which on old hardware is still absolutely amazing. what they could potentially do on PS5 hardware at, whatever you want to call it, 9.2 teraflops, 10.3, whatever number you want to pick is fine. The hardware is potentially 5 to 6 times more powerful. Yep. I can only imagine what Kratos in that world is going to look like. What are your thoughts on the potential of God of War 2 getting here sooner than later?
I mean, when you add that with the possibility of scenes being even faster and everything,
crazy.
Dude, just crazy. God of War, man. You said no spoilers, or did anybody play God of War in the chat? Because I might actually go off into it. I don't want to know. Put a 1 if you play God of War, or if you don't care about spoilers. I need you there real quick.
Listen, it's been like 2
my
years.
backlog. It's my backlog, but I mean, at this point, I don't care. It's
okay.
But
it's Boom's already spoiled the ending, so
nice.
You're good. No, he didn't really spoil really much. All you know is a name. But
right.
The significance of that name and what happens at the end of that is what's telling it.
Yes,
in general.
yes. Which I didn't spoil, by the way.
It starts snowing.
True.
And for those of you that have realized, when it comes to Loki and it starts snowing over there in mythological times, that means that Fimbulwinter has begun.
Yes, sir.
And Fimbulwinter means mighty winter. That means that we're pretty much on the cuffs of Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the destruction of all 9 realms.
Yes, it is.
And that's why it looks so insane. Now, what was the icing on the cake, and this is where me and Boom knows, I can't wait. The icing on the cake for that game was Thor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when we saw Thor, and you see you see Mjolnir, you best believe you're gonna have a moment where it's Mjolnir versus the blades of chaos.
Oh my God! This is just ridiculous.
That's going to be so sick, and that's the cool thing about it too. Norse gods have proven in this game that they're pretty much stronger than Greek gods.
Yes, they have.
I wonder if Mjolnir can break the blades of chaos.
Could you imagine if they do? Dude, maybe that's a quest. Oh my God,
that'd be crazy. Better yet, could you imagine Atreus? Remember, Atreus is mythological in this point, right? He's basically a Norse god at this point. Imagine Atreus with Thor's hammer.
Oh my God. Actually, I can't.
And the power of Loki, where he can shapeshift. Because remember, he talked about. I did a video on this. He talked about this all the time, about the possibility of shapeshifting.
Yeah. And the one tease is like, can I talk to animals?
Yes.
About that. And the thing about it too, they hinted at it too, that he could very well become a serpent. Because I did a video on this too, where the part where he shows the drawing and Kratos' ultimate fate. They showed that it looks like Atreus completes his metamorphosis, meaning he can transform into animals. Yeah. So again, I'm thinking that he'll be as powerful as the World Serpent, if not stronger than the World Serpent, when it comes to the sequels and what they're going to go for this. And again, Cory Barlog is very ambitious when it comes to his vision for games. Like that's why.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because if you remember when we were all hoping that we would get DLC, he presented DLC to them, and what did they say? They said he was crazy. Like you are insane if you want to put this out. And I think what they're going to do is his vision and what he had presented to Sony was so big that it could logistically be a prologue, maybe, to God of War 2. Maybe we'll get, again, this is just my speculation. Just imagine this for a second, though. You know how we got Lost Legacy after Uncharted ended, which I think Lost Legacy, if you have played it, shame on you. It's amazing. But both the female leads are just amazing. It was fantastic, right?
Amazing how Nadine is new and she still put on this ridiculous,
unbelievable show.
But just she's a new character and people care for her this much. That's crazy.
Well, that's the power of Uncharted for you. Yes. Yeah. But just imagine if, let's just say, for instance, and again, this is a shot in the dark. This is probably not going to happen, but Mr. Barlog, if you're listening, and he has answered me publicly on Twitter, which I think is dope. Imagine if God of War 2 is going to be one of those games that don't come out to year 3 of the PS5, right? Which would be devastating, but maybe. But because he already had this plan, imagine if we get a Lost Legacy type release, a prologue, a 10-hour adventure for what's going to lead into God of War 2. Man, goosebumps. That's what I'm going to say.
Dude, again, like even with his new project that we saw, remember the screenshots of it,
Yes,
and
yes.
people talking about it's like that movie Avatar.
Yeah.
I'm sold on anything Cory Barlog makes. The dude is just ambitious when it comes to like what he does and what he did for God of War. Again, it's nothing short of amazing for him to take what many people thought was the highest
franchise.
Yeah, like a lot of us thought God of War 3 was the best the franchise was ever going to get.
I agree.
He comes out of nowhere with this one and not only blew us away, but he delivered on a new premise. Not only do you care still about Kratos, now you care about his son, and you want to see what happens with the son. Does the son follow in the footsteps, or does he become the polar opposite and become this mighty god in the process, you know? And I honestly think that's the price they're going to go for. They're probably going to show Atreus being arrogant like his father, inheriting like the rage of Sparta in a weird way, but also having his own unique powers due to his mother, like from the light side type of thing, you know, like a yin and yang type effect with Atreus. And I really do think Atreus is going to be this insane god when we get through it. But I'm sold regardless.
Can you imagine if Kratos has to kill him? Oh my God! Here we go.
Honestly, I don't even think they would have the balls to do that. I honestly think I think it would be the opposite. I think it would be the opposite. I think like it would do something like, you remember Batman Arkham Knight?
Yes.
Remember how when you're playing as Azazel?
Yes.
And like it says attack Batman or break the sword, and you attack him, the computer automatically takes control and it counters. You're basically Batman, you throw him into the shell. I'm thinking something similar to that. Maybe if they were to do that, it would say kill Atreus, he ends up killing his father.
Wow! Oh God! Now you've moved it into the dark realms. You know what? Obviously,
that's in the suffering type of things. Remember, Kratos has been cursed to walk the earth.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. If you go all the way back to what exactly made Kratos who he is to where he's currently at right now, it's been a long journey. He's probably tired as hell. He's like, I've just about had it. So I don't know if they would move away from Kratos altogether. I don't know. And
you'll have him probably like in the third one. I think honestly, his future I think he's good for the second one, but maybe the third one he'll be dead.
Maybe we start to really sink our claws into Atreus as a character.
Yeah, like develop him more, like have part 2, build an even bigger bond with Atreus, and then go to part 3 and kill him off. And then because remember they showed off Athena.
Yes,
Athena was shown in this, and again, if Athena's shown, you know damn well they're saving Zeus. You know they're saving Zeus for a reveal in this, or better yet, what about Hades when he dies eventually?
Yeah, no, there's I put it this way: by them going into the Norse mythology, I think that it really does open up the potential for a significant amount of storytelling in a way that we know they're going to be able to do on the PlayStation 5. Remember that I thought that the God of War world was pretty big to begin with for the minuscule PS4 that it is. Just imagine having the power, 5 times the power. Well, how big of a scale and scope you're going to be able to make this game. I think that again, it's going to be very interesting. Let me bring in Mr. Badbit on this. Yep. Mr. Badbit, obviously we're all geeking out about the potential of what God of War 2 could potentially be. Me, myself, have already said that I'd love to see them release Corey's initial DLC that he had planned, which they literally called him insane. They said the words, "You are insane if you want to release this." So I don't necessarily know if we'll get a prologue. I don't know if they'll use that and put that into the beginning of God of War 2. I would love a prologue of sorts where it's a 10-hour adventure, it's a $30 or $40 game, and it not only holds us off to the official release of God of War, which I don't think is going to be coming until the third year of PlayStation 5, but it could lead us into what's going to happen in that story. What are your thoughts on this, dude?
So God of War, the franchise as a whole, has never spoken to me. I never liked Kratos as a character, but
okay, and
I have that like the opinion that the masses have when they're ever talking about God of War 4, which is like Kratos is unlikable. He's just always angry. I can't get behind him. He just seems like a d-bag. And then God of War 4 or the reboot happens, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Like I think it dances around first and second all the time. It's just it's a feat of how they're able to tell a one-shot story. I love video games where I constantly think, how was this able to be achieved? Like the whole no load times, the whole one-shot camera. Like, how are they able to actually achieve that? Because it is so seamless. And there's some points where they do some trickery for sure. But yeah, the game is something I hold very, very near to me as a gamer. As I always say this, as a son of an immigrant, I always see a lot of Kratos and Atreus' story as one of me and my father's, as this thing that a cultural disconnect that we have. So for me, it hit close to home for me. I love that game. Now, when it comes to Corey's next project and Santa Monica, first and foremost, I know a lot of people are like, well, is Santa Monica in trouble because they lost, this person we just found? No,
they're not.
They're totally fine. Yumi is fantastic, and she was detrimental to the God of War reboot. But effectively, and again, I know it's not for everyone. I know, like, with a lot of praise, some people are like, it's just not for me. That's totally fine. It is what it is. But for me, it is one of my favorite games of all time. And when you're seeing Corey and team going into the next generation, from what the little murmurings that I hear is A, it's closer than you think. B, Corey isn't the creative director. C, Corey is working on he says not God of War, it's a sequel. So I'm excited to see what team is working on the next God of War, if they, and I think they probably will, keep the one-shot camera. And to me, the only thing that I worry about in the sequel is if they're keeping the same writers. That's the only thing I care about, because I want that writing to be fantastic.
I don't think that they would change too much. I think if Corey is going to move on to his other project that he's doing, and I believe that is where he is going to be spending his time, it's not like he's leaving the studio. Like, they can't walk down to his office and say, hey, Corey, by the way, we're having a bit of an issue on this particular curve. Can you help us out? He's not going to be like, just a second, I already have a project. No.
Yeah. So for me, I'm excited to see what the studios have up their sleeve, because to me, and I think everybody here is in agreement, right? The strongest thing that they have at this very important time, Sony, is Spider-Man 2, God of War 2, Last of Us probably Part 2. They have all these sequels of games that did extremely well for the PlayStation 4 brand. To see those things carry over, that's the thing that excites me.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to look forward to. I mean, look, and I say this without trying to be facetious. I say this with a caring, aspect in my voice.
Yeah,
I understand that there are people. And I'm not shouting anybody out. I'm saying people general. I'm generalizing the word people.
Go for it.
That may or may not like a particular console for whatever reason. And I would never challenge him or her for doing so. If you are an Xbox guy or gal, and the thought of playing or holding a DualShock 4 or 5 in your hand nauseates you, I hear you. If you are a PlayStation player that absolutely hates everything about Phil Spencer and what they're trying to do for the next generation, I hear you. I'm not going to challenge it. If you are someone that says, you know what, both of these companies could suck it, I play strictly on Nintendo, I'm not going to argue. I am going to say this, though. If you consider yourself a gamer, with air quotes here, and you just like playing games, I think that you do yourself a tremendous disservice if you don't try to own all the consoles. And again, I understand that, especially right now, it's not feasible for many people. But this is going well before the crisis. I have always owned everything. I've owned every console since 1978. I know people are gonna be like, that's impossible. I am telling you, ask anyone that knows me, I've owned everything. I even have a Vectrex. I guarantee you 99.9% of people don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. And I have that. It works in storage. So I've owned everything. Sure. Is it great to have preference? Absolutely. Do I prefer Xbox over Sony? Yes. Do I play my Sony PlayStation for their exclusives at the forefront? Absolutely. It's why I play my Nintendo Switch. With the games that they have, I can't get somewhere else is where I play. Nintendo, for the Xbox, I play all my third party because I like I said, I like the controller, I like my elites, I like my friends list, I like my achievements. There's a lot of stuff that I like about it. But I'm saying this in the next generation, and I've said this is now going to be the fourth time I'm saying it live on the air. I believe personally that this next generation that's coming around the corner that we're going to hopefully get at the end of this year is going to be the first generation that it's going to really have a high percentile of multi-console owners, meaning that a good portion of the gaming community will own both, because both companies, both developers, both publishers are going to have games on said console that are going to be like, holy shit, I have to play this.
Yep.
So let me bring in, because we lost BitCloud. Hopefully he gets back. I'm not sure what happened, but let me bring in studio Nintendo Direct. Obviously, you, like many of us on this panel, like many of us in this chat, support multiple consoles.
Yes.
For you personally, where does God of War 2018 fall? And more importantly, are you interested to see where they take the story on the PlayStation 5?
So I'll have to be honest with you. I have not played a lot of God of War, and God of War 4 or whatever they call it is on my list. It's in my backlog. It'll probably be a game, but I have not completed that game. I haven't started it. There's been so many things I've been doing, working, whatever. It just hasn't been to the forefront of my mind. I just got my PlayStation.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Just keep going. I just have to step away for 1 second.
All right. What I was gonna say though, I just got my PlayStation 4 like maybe a year ago, so it was well after the God of War 4 release. So I still have to play Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, and God of War. Those are on my list, and thankfully I have them installed. I just haven't started them yet. So for me, I need to play God of War. I need to play God of War 4 before I can make a decision on, how exciting I am for how excited I am for the next one. But hearing everybody talk and the excitement you guys have had for the story continuing, I'm now anticipating playing the game better, if that makes any more sense. But as far as am I excited for it? I can't really tell you that because I'm not as invested as you guys are.
Now I got a question for you, Nintendo.
What's up?
Were you like an old school God of War fan?
No. So that's my thing. I never got to for me growing up gaming, it was Nintendo or Xbox. My cousin had a PlayStation, but I was never really invested in the PlayStation. So I never got to play a lot of PlayStation titles. So God of War for me was never something that I got to play. So most of my time was spent on Xbox. Like I said, I didn't get invested into the Sony community and that ecosystem until as of recently. So I'm trying to play catch up on a lot of these titles.
Is that a game that you would consider to be in your backlog? That's something you could
I mentioned that already, that I already have God of War. I already got God of War installed on the PlayStation. I just need to play it. There's a lot of games on the PlayStation that I need to go, but now that we have time, I'll probably end up playing them. But God of War is definitely on the list, and like I said, hearing you guys talk about it only makes me more excited to play it. So I can't wait.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, listen, I think you're going to be very impressed. I think you're going to enjoy it. As we move on, we're going to get close to moving into, of course, towards the end of the show. And we have one more topic we're going to hit, but I got to bring in Archimedes and, of course, Sean D on their opinions on God of War. And I'll go to Archimedes first. Archimedes, obviously, we've been talking and gushing over God of War. A lot of people don't like it, and that's fine. I'm never going to challenge someone's opinion. I happen to love it. It's one of my favorite PlayStation 4 games this generation, right along with Horizon Zero Dawn, which I continue to bang that drum. For you, where does God of War 2018 sit, and are you excited to see what happens with the team changing leads for God of War 2?
Oh, I'm incredibly excited. I mean, Cory Barlog did an amazing job with God of War. I the God of War franchise was actually my favorite PlayStation franchise
Oh, that's
or
awesome.
IP.
Nice.
The old ones, yeah. I loved the combat system of it. I was really surprised because in the old God of War games, well, Kratos was not really let's call it deep character or something.
Right.
I
He was
never
just a beast.
Yeah, I never linked him or linked the God of War games with storytelling or character development or something like that. Yeah, they were just fun games. They were amazing games. Yeah, and when the 2018 God of War launched and they told this amazing story and showed Kratos as a real deep character with his relation to his son, this was so surprising to me. And I can't wait to play the next one on the PS5. Yeah, I was really surprised to hear that Cory Barlog is not going to direct it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have such a masterpiece on your hand, you gotta keep the director in, right? I mean, Avatar 2 won't get another director. Yeah, you have to keep that director in. But I trust that they have thought it over and that and the game is not made by one guy. Yeah, in the end, it
Right.
is always a team
Yeah.
achievement, and as long as the main team is there, I'm really excited for it. And yeah, I think this is going to be the game that they will advertise the PS5 with. They will show a trailer with it, and
Absolutely.
this is the game that defined basically the generation for Sony this time, and I can't see a way how they will not use this to advertise the PS5. So let's hope we will see it very soon. Yeah,
And honestly, when it comes to like, I'm sorry,
That's
just
okay. Come on in.
yeah, sure.
when it comes to like changing directors, remember, there's always Empire Strikes Back. So
No, it's true. That's a
True.
great point. I mean, there's always concern. There's always
Yeah.
concern, but
rightfully so too.
I just think that they're so talented there that it's not gonna. I mean, I'm not saying you can easily interchange Cory Barlog. I'm not
Right.
saying that, but we also got to remember he did not leave the studio. He's just working on something else. So yes, can they knock on his door? Absolutely. Sean D, let's get you in here so we can get up to that last topic. What are your thoughts of God of War 2018? Did you play it, and are you excited to see where they take the sequel?
All right, let me do a quick disclaimer real quick.
I love it.
So I usually own one main console, and then I'll have like a Nintendo console as a backup. So I don't have a PS4.
Okay.
Not afford it or anything like that. It's more of it's hard to buy a console strictly for the exclusives, especially if I'm not into all of them.
Okay.
But I will say, when I saw God of War come out, that was one that I was about to be like, I'm about to drop $400, get this PS4 Pro, and play this game. Because when I saw that opening scene, it looked amazing. I do have a prediction. I think that Atreus will become evil by the end of 2.
Oh boy.
And Kratos is going to have to kill him by 3. And it'll be Kratos all by himself all over again. That's
a Conan the Barbarian scenario, sitting on the throne all by yourself.
But as far as the low-key announcement of it, I think this is exactly what PlayStation fans need.
Yes, yes.
Not that nobody knew that it wasn't coming. Of course it was coming. But they need something to like get some form of hype going for. Didn't they say that this game is set up to be a 3-parter? Like
I
from
believe
jump?
so. It's a trilogy. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that a lot of the script has already been laid out.
It wouldn't surprise me. No.
Before they actually got to actually develop in the next 2 games. So as far as I know, I can't remember who was nervous about the writing.
Oh, it's probably maybe me, just to make sure that the writers are still there. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that all that's like taken care of ahead of time. So I don't think you really have to worry about that. And
you might have a Marvel Cinematic Universe situation, like they did the ending first and worked their way back.
Right, exactly. So yeah, man, I'm hyped for it. I might just like you were saying earlier, this might be the time where I actually get both consoles at launch. I might be getting me a PS5 right when I get my Series X as well.
Awesome, dude.
I don't think I can deny it anymore.
I love it.
Not that I'm gonna have to wait a year to play Final Fantasy VII. You know how much I love that game. It's definitely a great thing for Sony fans.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see where they go. For me personally, like I'm super excited. I put it to this way: it's a lead platform title for Sony, but I also think that it's one of those games that's probably, I think it's safe to assume or even say that it's going to move consoles, right? You're going to see God of War 2 running, and you're like, holy shit, like I got to get a console. Like I said, I do believe that this is going to be a generation where there is going to be so many people or trying to at least to own multiple consoles, and I think that's great. I really do. But you know what? Obviously, we are getting close to the 2-hour mark. I don't want to keep everybody too long. I'm going to bring in a smaller topic, and I just want to get everybody's opinion on it. I thought I actually had it in the show notes, and for some reason I don't, which is fine because there's not really much to talk about. And we talked about it last night. Big Cloud and I, and Salty and Mooch and a few other panel members that were on there. In a very, very awesome way, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was stealth dropped onto the PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And we know for a fact that it's coming to the Xbox One on the 30th of April, which I already bought it. And as we know, it is a single player only game. There's no multiplayer, which I'm cheering from the sidelines very, very, very loudly because I don't play Call of Duty online. It's just not my bag. It's just never been my thing. I prefer the story, and even though we're not getting Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 the same way we got the last year's stellar Modern Warfare reboot, if you will, it's still a remaster of a fantastic game. It looks really good. There are a lot of people in the community that and some people that used to work for like big places like IGN, like Alanis Pierce. She actually put a tweet out there, not only condemning the launch, but condemning more so that it was a 30-day exclusive to Sony, and really calling Activision out on it. Now, I'll admit that business is business. But I honestly think that this is a bad look for both Sony and Activision, more so Activision because they're the rights holders. I think that in a time where we don't necessarily know where we're going to get our next gallon of milk, do people really want to wait 30 days for something a stupid contract that you guys did years ago? I think this could have been lifted. But Big Cloud, I want to go to you first on this. Big Cloud, you had a very strong opinion on last night's show with Salty, and I don't think it's going to have change, and mine obviously isn't either in a matter of 12 hours. But do you think that this was? I mean, what are your opinions on the stealth launch of the game? Do you think that maybe they took this 30-day exclusive in a time where they probably shouldn't have taken it so serious? Big Cloud, he's muted. Okay. Maybe he stepped away for a second.
Cloud.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, there you
go. Okay.
Yeah, so Big
Cloud
launched this, which was funny enough, right? But the fact that they didn't even put no extra effort into this at all, what they did was just high-resed it. They
high-resed it, yes.
Yeah, they didn't remake it. There's nothing special about it. There's it's kind of like a Final Fantasy. Remember before we got the full remake, we got just a little slight
it
little
made it look slightly better.
It is slightly better. That's all they did. It looks exactly the same. I'm like, none of you dudes are playing this damn single player. First of all, the single player for that is iconic. Like, we can agree like that. Modern Warfare 2, if we were to put it in like the top 3, it would be like 1 or 2. Like, literally, it's up there with the iconic parts of the franchise. Like, that was the ones that, for a lot of us, got us into that franchise, right? Especially because they were ballsy with the franchise, especially with the airport scene. So I can see a lot of people being excited just off of that scene alone. But the thing is, well, it's not even complete. It's just the single player portion, so it's not even the multiplayer. And again, this is where I always will have this heat relationship with Activision. Activision is notorious. They'll say that we're for the gamer, we're for the consumer, but they're so quick to throw as soon as like a check comes, right? They're so quick to go, oh, here's Xbox or PlayStation. They get exclusive DLC. They get the DLC, a month early. Or in this case, they'll get the game early for PlayStation. I am not a fan of what Activision has done to that franchise. Like they don't value your time.
No,
they don't value my time. They don't do this for the gamer. They just do not. They do it for the check. And I do agree with Alana, what she said, that in a time like this, do you really need to be looking at your damn pocket right now when the damn world is like in a state of really panic right now? People really want to play, games and just forget about this and escape this, and it's not like any of us, and let's be realistic here, it's not like any of us can go back and play the older CODs. They're like they're hacked at this point.
Yes.
Old CODs. I mean, in a game, you mess around and walk into you might think it's a normal game, then you see the wording at the end that says, hey, you're in a hack lobby, and then the dude turns to a walking AC-130.
I'm of two minds of this. I'm gonna be
let's finish. So again, the way Activision handles the Call of Duty license, I used to be a big diehard. Like I'm talking, I bought Black Ops.
Didn't you say you stopped buying their titles altogether?
I stopped buying them all together. And let me tell you, I've been in a better state of mind. And I've just been in a better mood ever since. So I bought Black Ops 2 day one. I was there at midnight release. Got the damn game. The damn servers didn't want to work.
Wow.
Black Ops 3 was the last one. And I said that this is the last one. Dudes thought I was joking. They looked completely stupid when I was playing Rocket League while they were playing that, and they were all raging. I'm sitting there enjoying myself. I know. Absolutely. To buy something that I know that's one going to infuriate me, but for one, I know that the developer doesn't even care or value my feedback in terms of fixing it. How many times have you, me, or anybody on this panel have cried and complained that franchise needs dedicated servers?
Oh, for years, dude.
Oh my gosh,
years. And we're talking about crossplay now, and the fact they have issues with crossplay. With people using hackers. So again, if you're that incompetent, well, you can't fix that. And now you're talking about bringing in more sides of the spectrum here when it comes to gamers, and you don't even want to so much as dish out, which would be chump change to Activision. Let's keep this real. It'll be chump change to Activision. Throw dedicated service to this game, and it's not like Call of Duty doesn't pay for itself over time. It pays for itself with DLC and microtransactions.
I'm of two minds of this, to be honest. I think first off, the exclusivity, the timed exclusivity is stupid, because when I'm thinking Call of Duty, and I've talked about this prior, it is multiple consoles. It is a multiple console game. I think of the 360 era. That's what and so when it comes to and I think I talked about this on the trophy room. When it comes to something like Final Fantasy VII, I'm okay with that timed exclusivity, because when I'm thinking Final Fantasy VII, I'm not thinking of Xbox. I am thinking of where it originated, the PlayStation. But when it comes to Call of Duty, it is, again, it's on everything. And for this timed window, it is stupid. But to see the Venom is also kind of stupid as well. Right now, I actually put it up here. What you get out of $20, you get a ghost skin, you get 2 weapon blueprints, weapon charm, finishing move, voice quip, animated calling card emblem, and 2 battle pass tier skips. That is way more that you would get in a $20 packed value. If you're just looking at it for Warzone or Modern Warfare as a whole right now, that's what you're getting alongside the remaster. You're getting all that. You usually have to pay $15-$20 for just a skin on Fortnite. So I actually think just for the skins alone, if you're just a Warzone player, this is right up your alley. This is awesome for you. And that's where I actually see value in this deal. When it comes to publishers valuing gamers, not a lot of them do. it's all bull crap. They don't care about
one of the ones that stand out for me would be
Battle
Cyberpunk developers. They're one of the few that actually give a shit about their people.
I would even argue to an extent Epic as well for pushing things, and Rocket League devs. You know, there's not a lot of them out there, and so when I hear that complaint, I'm like, well, they're just a business. Like, that's what they are. With that said, I would love to see them get rid of the timed exclusivity, because it is pretty dumb. I know that they have a deal with PlayStation. They should have, and I think as like the PR guy in the room, nobody thought this was going to be a huge deal. And when it hit, I don't think anybody was expecting this. To me, I would try to go back to PlayStation and go, listen, can we give you guys like in a future, like a free weapon skin or something? And then we could just put this out to everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing to kind of put water to the flame here, because to me, I think on one hand, it is dumb. On the other hand, there is value to it. And in the middle, Warzone is incredibly popular right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it does with nobody has anything better to do. So here it is. And
free to play also helps.
You're talking about incredible value, right? Incredible value. Now, again, DLC, skin, and a skip and a damn pass is nothing for me. What's the point of that?
When you're talking about a free to play game,
when you're talking about giving content away, and you can't even get your base game and the issues that have plagued this base game for years. How long has Call of Duty been around? Can anybody explain that to me? A while, right?
For a minute.
How many iterations of Call of Duty have we had over the years?
But I think that's a personal issue that you have with the development of the game.
No, that's a personal issue that they have personally.
Well, if that speaks to the game, then this game would not be anywhere as popular.
This issue with the game again, Call of Duty
have issues with this game.
The Call of Duty brings in the kids and casual. That's it. That's the reason why it's a big thing. It's a casual shooter.
Yeah, but why are the casual shooters? But why
an arcade pick up, easy to play shooter that the casuals like to buy.
I don't see that argument as
these lobbies nowadays are kids.
Fortnite, it captures the casuals. It captures the people that want to just get in, get out real fast, like a Call of Duty does. There's also the pro element like Call of Duty has as well. Where you're speaking from is personal issues that I think I also have problems with. I don't like the balancing of the game. I don't like the shotguns in the game. But I'm at the same exact time, I'm not
talking about balancing. You're taking us into a different realm.
No. But what you're saying is you have
issues that plague this game. It goes deeper than just weapon balance. It is the network itself. The fact that this game in 2020 still has not a single dedicated server, and this game is as big as it is, and yet there are companies who were smaller budget that threw dedicated servers at fans. And keep in mind, let's go to Rocket League. Rocket League, when it first launched, boom, had dedicated servers.
Yes, it did.
It had dedicated servers for 3 years until eventually it dropped it.
Yeah.
So for a low budget company to throw dedicated server, you know what that tells me, Boom? It doesn't cost what? It doesn't cost a thing to throw dedicated servers.
I think that at the core of Activision, it's poorly run. I think that they are definitely looking at the dollar more than the
exactly. Again, like I don't want to sit here and say pro consumer. They are not pro consumer.
I don't think they are either. But I also, again, I think it's also overblown.
I mean, look, you know what? I think you're going to get many angles. Right. I think that the angle.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare does have dedicated servers.
Which one?
The latest one.
Oh, well,
Warzone? I mean, it better.
No. I just pulled up an article right here. So I don't know. Games Radar, Call of Duty Modern Warfare will provide dedicated servers on all platforms. So I'm also assuming that goes for Warzone as well.
You'd like to believe, you know what? You never know. I mean, if they have them for the older game that launched at the end of 2019, that was widely popular, I would imagine that Warzone could potentially have it. It would make perfect sense. But look, obviously, what I like to do real quick is we are past 2 hours.
That's a PR spin.
Also, GameSpot Comic Book and Reddit also confirms they have.
Okay, all right. Well, I definitely I don't have that in the show notes. I didn't know that was going to actually be a thing, but
I didn't know either.
let me just ask the rest of the panel, Nintendo and Shandi and Alchemy. Before we get on out of here, and I do the outros, anything else you'd like to add regarding this? 'Cause, I mean, again, not the biggest topic of today. Are you is anybody disappointed that this is being held as a 30-day exclusive? And what does that really make Activision look? I mean, does it make them look worse?
I'm always disappointed in Activision. so let me just be real with that. I'm always disappointed with Activision. So anything they do, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So yeah, this was a scummy move. I'll just say that and let somebody else speak.
Yeah, well, it's indifferent. I'm indifferent to it. It's like you said, it's Activision. You kind of expect it.
Okay, let me add something positive to the whole story. Actually, I was happy to see that Activision decided to release just the campaigns. I don't like the Call of Duty multiplayer. I'm not a fan of it.
Me either. I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
so
and
it's become the trend argument. I mean, cut you off, where they sell it separate, like you can choose to pay for.
Yeah, exactly. And that is something I like, because I usually don't buy the Call of Duty games because I don't want to pay $60 for a 5 to 6 hour campaign. Yeah. Actually, the spring sale on the Xbox started today, and I was buying 2 Call of Duty games for $20 each just for the campaigns. Yeah, and with that respect, I like the idea, but I don't like the exclusivity deal. I think this is something that is outdated in the year 2020 to pay money for withholding a game to other platforms. This is just not, it doesn't feel right.
Look, I think it's a bad look for you can't blame Sony because they signed the deal. I mean, I don't know if Sony could have went to them and say, listen, right now we're just gonna let this out on I don't know who's to blame. I know it's a bad look.
I know when it comes to Destiny, Bungie went up to PlayStation and was like, hey, can we work something out here? Can we get out of this contract early? We broke with Activision, and they were like, all right, fine. Also, I do want to mention what sucks more, and it maybe is why I'm not as outraged about a 30-day exclusivity. Again, it sucks. It's stupid, but it's not nearly as bad as Control's first DLC that's timed exclusive. It came out in March and it's coming out on Xbox in late June, and I think that really sucks. But at the same exact time, Control, smaller title, way smaller studio, that needs that cash.
Yeah, no, I will agree. But listen, I'll say this as we close out today's show. This has been great. We had a full panel. A lot of big opinions. I think we had fantastic topics, even though a lot of them are heavy Sony. Obviously, I support multiple consoles, and if you tuned in and you were somewhat disappointed that it wasn't more Xbox, well, that's why I have the Xbox Factor podcast, where the full 90 minutes plus that we do on a weekly basis, now twice a week, is packed with Xbox content. So I try to put these shows together for everyone. As much as I appreciate and love the Xbox community, I also enjoy catering to both the Nintendo and PlayStation community, because I'm part of that community. I enjoy those consoles. I'm a proud supporter, and I try to make the shows different. Trust me when I tell you, it's really walking the razor's edge when you produce not just 3 anymore, but 4 live shows weekly. It has become, and I'm not complaining at all. I absolutely look forward to doing it. While I was listening to everyone else, I already started working on Primetime Gaming Show, if you could believe it, which, again, I'm ahead of the curve. So at least this weekend I can just kind of chill a little bit, because it does take a little bit out of you to produce this much content. Some people only do 1 show a week. And that's awesome. I just find myself, I need to do more. I don't do videos anymore because I think the live content is where it is. But let's get into the outros, and I'll start with BitCloud. First of all, dude, you got something big happening at this afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you obviously have an amazing channel, and I definitely appreciate having you on the show each and every week, because you do bring it, even though we may disagree or mostly agree, especially when you start talking about PlayStation. Do me a favor, tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, check out your YouTube channel and your live show this afternoon.
Yeah, show us fire, man. Good job. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys can follow me at Big Cloud Gaming, Twitter, and YouTube. RGT Podcast, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Can't wait. See you guys there.
Nah, well, thanks for being here as always, and of course, our newest member that's going to be joining us each and every Friday morning, Mr. Badbit, dude. Got to tell you, cannot compliment you enough on your opinions. I think that you bring a lot to the table on not only your own shows on your YouTube channel, but on the shows that you have guested on my channel. I want to thank you for accepting the invitation to become, even if it's a temporary, permanent panel member until maybe September or October of this year. I want to thank you for that. And I also want to say, where can people find you on social media? But more importantly, check out your growing YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. So thank you again for the offer. This has been already an amazing conversation, amazing talks we're having. Big Cloud, I love you, by the way. Yeah. I know we ended that a little tense because we had a whole lot of happy feelings midway.
Ugly sucks. Go away.
So yeah, no, you can find me over at Bad Big Games where we talk about all things game news, reviews, and unboxings. And also I host the Trophy Room over at youtube.com/badbiggames. And I also have the Trophy Room on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, wherever you get your RSS feed. So if you're into just people that are interested in the PlayStation ecosystem, like to have good, fun times, honest discussions, go over there. We are 5-star reviews away from 69 reviews on iTunes. So
nice.
It's
That's
about
big.
to be super cool, you guys.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here. And of course, check out his content. Everyone's links are available in the show notes once this post live. Shandi, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out with us once again. Appreciate your banter. Appreciate your honest opinion. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media. But more importantly, check out your outstanding and growing YouTube channel.
Thank you, Boom. I had a great time, guys. You can find me at GAM Entertainment on YouTube, and my Twitter is at GAM Entertain. Had a great time. Let's do this again.
Yes, absolutely, dude. We're definitely going to be getting a return invite. And of course, Archimedes, let me get to you, my brother, all the way from Germany. Now, I believe it's past 6 p.m. I know it's probably dinner time for you and the kids. So let's get you on out of here. You obviously have been making the rounds, not only on social media, but also on your outstanding and growing YouTube channel. The content is coming fast and furious. So tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter and other forms of social media, but tell them where they can come and check out your growing YouTube channel.
Yeah, first, let me thank you for having me again, and thanks to the panel. I had a great time talking today. You can find me on YouTube at Boxenberger or the same on Twitter. I just uploaded my latest video today, so I'd be happy to get some feedback on that, and I hope to be back on the show again.
Well, yeah, you'll definitely be getting an invite. And last, and certainly in no way least, Nintendo. It's been a long time coming. I love having you on because I love the passion that you bring to not only the shows that you guest appear. I love what you do with with the community as a whole. You're always out there at the forefront of talking with the community, but your YouTube channel is fantastic. And of course, the music that you put on your second YouTube channel is something that people who appreciate originally scored gaming music need to get over there and sub. Do me a favor, tell everyone how they can do that, but also where they can find you on social media.
Yes, sir. So you can find me on social media. Everything is Studio Nintendo now. So you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube, Studio Nintendo. Like you said, if you like to hear different remixes of video game themes, then go ahead and you go over to the channel, check it out. If you enjoy it, hit that subscribe button. If not, I'm just glad you stopped by and check out a video. That's all that really matters to me. It's all about the love. So appreciate you for having me on. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been on, and I'm actually glad to be able to be on this week.
Well, it was great to have everybody here. I just want to thank the 200 and nearly 250 people that tuned in for this morning's show. One thing I will say that apparently YouTube is finally getting their shit together and getting the issues for smaller channels like mine that the notifications were not going out. I'm very pleased to see that because there's nothing more disheartening as a content creator that you spend time away from your family and, of course, playing games to put these shows together, and you put your heart and soul into each one. At least I do. I put my heart and soul to each one of these shows, and nobody gets to know about that you're live. And I think that sucks. And I think that YouTube, the complaining that I've been doing publicly on Twitter, along with smaller channels like the Iron Lords and a few others, they finally heard our cries, and that even though we don't make $1 million for them per year, we still count because they're still taking their 30%. And it's great to see that we had a big turnout today. Of course, both my wife and I want to wish everyone health, love, safety, understanding, patience, and more importantly, just be well. Treat others. And again, I'll say this like I say it every show I close out. Right now, the world is in a place where we need more good guys. And the way that we can do that are two things that my dad taught me way back in the early 70s that I've kept through my entire career as a New York City police officer, and I carry as a banner of honor through my times, dealing with this community. Two simple things that I hope will help you move along this very treacherous world we're living in. One is of treat others how you personally want to be treated. I think that goes a long way, especially now. And it doesn't cost anything to be nice. I'll say this: you live by those rules, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy whatever console you're playing on. And we will see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Take care, everyone.